Ranking the images is pretty easy. I would say a lot of people are happy after getting everything out of the first 2 pages. I think that kills a lot of the visibility. It's people coming to us all the time asking, hey, can you help push up this negative content for our competitors? So we take all that information, we take all their existing websites and socials, and then we create a custom GPT just around that customer.
What is the easiest way to push down the bad article?
The easiest way would be to get sometimes just getting Google to favor the right ones can be a little tricky. In some cases, we'll have a couple of different exact match domains of different variations the article's searching for, and they'll all typically rank pretty easy. Get Google to start favoring that type of content versus the negative content that's out there about them. We're just trying to train Google on a clear, consistent message, trying to understand this type of person, if it's a lawyer, a realtor, whatever it is, what does Google favor in the search results? And then using those entities in the campaign. Yeah, sometimes all it takes is one, because a lot of times the negative comes from a news outlet. That makes it a lot trickier. And by the way, they got in trouble for this, or they'll mention the negative as well. And even if it's just like a sentence, it's super impactful.
Breaking news.
Odys is selling 86% of their inventory to over 40,000 verified buyers, and most of it are instant sales. Are you sitting on a premium age domain? Sign up for Odys Marketplace right now and wait for your check. Hello, this is Odys Podcast. My name is Aneta Samkov, and I'm today at the Masterminders in Manchester. And my guest is Scott Keever from Miami, United States, from Reputation Pros. And he's an entrepreneur and business owner with over 13 years of experience in SEO. Thank you so much for coming here,
Thanks for
Scott.
inviting me.
Thank you. So we're going to talk today about online reputation management, because you're the guru of the subject, and I'm really excited. This is like the first time you're actually coming to the podcast. Thank you for honoring me with that.
You're welcome.
So tell us, what is more difficult, online reputation management for people or companies?
I wouldn't say that one's more difficult than the other. I think it's more about the site that the negative articles are showing on. For example, if a authoritative website has an article about the person or the business, and their name is in the title, their name's in the URL, and it's on a very authoritative site, that makes it a lot trickier to suppress than, say, an article that just mentions this business or this individual, and their name's just kind of mentioned in the text. Those tend to be a lot easier to suppress than an article that's like completely focused around that person or that company.
Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's a company or a person. It's more important the
site that the negative is on is what's most impactful as far as how complex the campaign's going to be.
I see. So you're often ranked as #1 online reputation management expert. And how much of that recognition is from your own work versus from the organic industry recognition?
At first, it was my own work, just trying to get myself out there for the service and let people know what we do. But as I was doing that, more and more people caught on and started reaching out organically, asking to, do articles about the company or myself. So what I kind of did to start out and getting my name out there kind of blew up, and got a lot of free organic press from it as well.
Also, so you kind of build it,
and then it just started coming in from there.
Awesome. So actually, I typed in the best looking guy in Miami, and guess who comes up? Can you tell us how you dominated the SERPs for best looking guy in Miami and all the related phrases?
Yeah, I did that years ago for my SEO agency, just as a fun icebreaker. When clients would be like, "Well, why should we hire you?" I would say, "Google best looking guy in Miami." They Google me. It's a fun laugh, and then I say that could be your business. So I had that up for years, and as we started transitioning into doing a lot more reputation management, a lot of the clients we deal with are very high profile. We have to sign NDAs. So there's not often a way to show a potential client an example of our work. So I thought, hey, why not use this as a way to show how we can dominate the SERPs? So I started from just having the one article that showed up number one and just started ranking a bunch of different entities that we use in our campaigns. And now if you search it, pretty much all of page one shows up about me in one way or another.
But this is great marketing tactic as well.
Yeah, people love it. It's funny, and it's just, again, it's a good icebreaker for people getting to know you. And
absolutely, and fun topic to talk at the parties. Yep. And you recently said when Reputation Pros was named the best online reputation management company of 2025, that by Modern Luxury Magazine, that page one of Google is your modern day resume, with Google's AI overviews and with the search moving towards ChatGPT. How has your approach to that to controlling the first page evolved? Do you still stand by that phrase, or anything changed?
Yeah, it's still definitely the same. We have to be more cautious of how we can get the clients in the AI overviews. A lot of times when clients come to us and we are, doing our research on the negative articles, if you use the different AI tools, you'll see the negative articles show there as well too. So it's very important for us not only to clean Google search, but to also be able to get enough positive content out there in the right places so the AI overviews and different AI tools show what we want to display as well.
Okay. So actually, what happens in LLMs when you have both positive and negative mentions? Because in the SERPs, of course, you have the list of different articles, and some of them may be positive, others not. But what happens in the LLMs if you have mixed?
Typically, you'll see a paragraph of text talking about the person, and it will mention where they work, what they do, where they're located, and then it'll also mention, and by the way, they got in trouble for this, or they'll mention the negative as well. And even if it's just a sentence, it's super impactful to still have that negative sentiment in the overviews.
Really? And how prevalent does this negative article has to be in order to be mentioned by one sentence? Is it enough to have one negative article and the chat will mention that one sentence?
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is one, because a lot of times the negative comes from a news outlet or something that's an authoritative source. So it's just going to pop up as there's no positive content about them, and they have, their random socials and maybe an about page on their company website, and then they have this authoritative negative article out there. So it's just going to be pulled up because of that.
I see. Okay. So with people searching on TikTok, Reddit, all different LLMs, how are you adapting online reputation management beyond traditional Google search? Are you building special defense systems for these platforms as well? How is it different from Google, if at all it is?
Right now, I'd say most of the clients' immediate concern is Google. We've had a few cases of Reddit or YouTube videos that come out. So we're constantly strategizing and finding ways to help combat. Haven't had any TikTok issues just yet. But what we see is going in and analyzing similar companies or similar individuals, finding out what common sites show for those individuals, and then we leverage those assets within our campaigns. So, we can kind of get an understanding of what Google favors for this type of person. If it's a realtor, we'll search 20 or 30 different popular realtors in large cities, and then, kind of database everything that's showing for them in the first 20, 30 results, and then do that 20, 30 times over of different people in different areas that are all realtors. And then we can kind of get a good idea of what's going to help work in the campaign.
I see. Okay. And so tell us, what is the easiest way to push down a bad article?
The easiest way would be to get a more relevant, more fresh article on the same website that the negative is displayed on. That's often tricky, especially if they don't have paid placements or anything like that. But we will always do outreach to the site that the negative article is on, asking, hey, do you offer paid placements? And if they do, we could do a bio article that's more relevant about the person. Their name's going to be in the URL, the title, and the whole article is going to be specifically about them. And because of the freshness, a lot of times that will help push the bad one out and push that one up. When that doesn't happen, then we got to try to find, an evenly authoritative website. And again, just make sure the content's a lot more relevant and then push it up with as much positive signals, traffic, backlinks, and everything as we can to get Google to favor that over the negative, outdated article.
Okay. So what uncommon properties do you use to push down bad articles?
Anything we can find that we could get a profile link on. Again, it's more about understanding the type of person or company we're dealing with and seeing what Google favors in those search results. So that's always the first place we start is trying to understand this type of person, if it's a lawyer, a realtor, whatever it is, what does Google favor in the search results? And then using those entities in the campaign. I think that's kind of the first place to start. The easiest place to get quick wins. And then, it's just trial and error from there, finding different things that work for those specific types of people or businesses.
So, for example, if they don't have LinkedIn profile, it would suggest a LinkedIn profile right away, right?
Yeah, definitely. We have a big list of social profiles we always create. We want to make sure that all of the social profiles link to the same main site. Typically, we'll set up a personal website for them. The personal website will host, follow me on social, and then it'll have a link to all the different social profiles that we've created. All the social profiles will have that same consistent bio linking back to that same website. And we're just trying to train Google on a clear, consistent message of who they are, what they do, and where they do it, and get Google to start favoring that type of content versus the negative content that's out there about them.
And how important is to have your own personal website?
I think it's very important because you can kind of use that as the entity hub where any positive press you can link on it, all the social profiles, like anything we do positive for the account, we can link on the site. And as we power that site up, usually it's going to be an exact match to their name or business name. If the negative article is showing for their name plus a city, we'll do their name plus a city as the domain. So we have the most relevant site about them. It's going to host all of the different positive places that we build content out to, and then schema will kind of tie everything together so Google can easily find everything that we've created.
Yeah, I was wondering how important is it to have the exact match domain?
It helps a lot. In some cases, we'll have a couple different exact match domains of different variations the article is searching for, and they'll all typically rank pretty easy.
Oh, so you would do even a number of domains, like for example, Aneta Samkov Krakow, Aneta Samkov Podcast.
If needed. I always want to try to keep a natural profile, so sometimes having too many of the same thing kind of looks fabricated. So most cases we'll try to stick with one, but in some cases where things aren't moving how we want to, sometimes we'll build out those additional assets, get them ranked, get the negative pushed down, and then we can spend more time building a variety of different assets so it looks more natural over time.
Yeah, and that's probably will also work with the help of LLMs, right? In a sense that if you have your own personal website,
it'll start referencing that.
Yeah, exactly. First place to reference. Very good idea. So how hard is it to rank images? Do you actually use images also in your work as well?
Yeah, we have a lot of clients come to us with negative images. Ranking the images is pretty easy. Sometimes the tricky part is getting the negative image to drop out of the page one little snippet of images there. I'm working on a case now where we've literally ranked 15 to 20 images. If you click the image tab, the negative image is way down low, but it's still showing in the little 3-pack on page page
Oh,
one.
man.
So for whatever reason, Google just loves that image. And no matter how many positive images we rank above it, it's still sticking. So that I would say ranking images tends to be easy, but sometimes just getting Google to favor the right ones can be a little tricky. We'll eventually get it down, but that's the trickiest part right now with images.
Can you share any tips on how to rank an image fast?
Just getting placed on high authoritative websites, embedding them in other websites. When you put a lot of image embeds, it'll start favoring the original image where it was posted. So that tends to work well. And then links, traffic, anything we can to push positive signals to it. Social shares.
I see. And what is your take on using expired domains or age domains with like clean backlink profile for online reputation management?
I think it's great if you can find a relevant one to the business or person, sending it to the 301 to their personal website we're building out that hosts all the positive content we're trying to push up. It's just a great way to power that up and power up everything else. So definitely a good way to do that.
What do you think of using AI-generated content at scale for online reputation management? Are you running any programmatic SEO campaigns?
When we onboard a new client, we'll have them fill out an intake form, kind of helping them craft the narrative of who they want to be known as on Google, right? And we take that information, they provide us images, a bio, short form bio, long form bio. We have them answer a bunch of questions so we can really understand what they want to be known about. We take all that information, we take all their existing websites and socials, and then we create a custom GPT just around that customer. So that way we can craft AI content on demand. So as we need to get different placements in different places, we can just go to their custom GPT, say, hey, I need an article for medium.com or I need an article for LinkedIn. And it will just, spit out the exact article we want. We train it on, proper writing. I put a bunch of different grammar books, a bunch of different SEO trainings and stuff into it already. So it's going to know the correct way we want the content to be formatted, and it works very well.
That's awesome. I love it. Your personal GPT.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you're trying to do content at scale. And of course, the content needs to be customer facing, and especially working with a lot of high profile people, content needs to be on point. So that's just a great way to reiterate the message they want to be known for and keep the content consistent across the board.
Yeah, so I see there's a lot to manage, a lot of different social profiles, websites, LLMs. How do you actually ensure entity consistency across all these diverse platforms? That can be tricky, right?
Yeah, using the custom GPT helps create that consistent message across the board. I'm working on building out some tools to create, easier ways to track everything, monitor the negative. I'm creating like a score for reputation, so we can analyze a person's search and then give them a score based on the amount of negative and positive content that's out there about them, and then we can use these tools that we're building out to be able to leverage in the campaign and keep an update on how things are moving positive and how the negative's shifting.
Okay. And can you share what kind of black hat tactics have you seen being used to push down bad articles? Have you seen any?
Oftentimes, any customer-facing stuff that we do, we want to keep pretty clean and white hat.
Yeah.
But the stuff we use to push that up, I always just look at all the black hat niches, casino, online streaming services, stuff like that, where you're going to find the more risky stuff.
Yeah.
And we can find a lot of the tricks that are being done there and utilize those to push up the positive. Sometimes the negative, the more black hat stuff will rank where we don't want it to. So then you can kind of make your job harder by having the new thing you want to suppress down. Because at the end of the day, you want a very nice, clean profile for the people we're working with. But yeah, a lot of good black hat tricks can be found just by looking in those industries and try to replicate what you can see.
And probably many of those tricks are used in negative campaigns, right?
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of people with money that whether it's politicians or business partners that they want to leverage these things for bad. That's not something we get people coming to us all the time asking, hey, can you help push up this negative content for our competitors or for our opponents?
They come to you to push up negative content.
We try to stay away from that stuff, but there's a lot of people with a lot of money that are willing to play dirty. Put it like that.
I didn't realize that. I mean, that could be a good service, like they would get a lot of customers. So could you give any examples of actually like the negative campaigns you've seen or you had to deal with, like to destroy someone's reputation, like with fake reviews or other kind of...
Yeah, I would say the most recent one I can think of is we had a couple who was very well off, very well known, separated, and the husband was publishing a bunch of negative content about the wife. So I guess he didn't want her to find a new significant other. And if you searched her name, it was just article after article of just putting her down, talking bad about her.
Oh my gosh.
Displaying her home address, public information. Like, it was pretty bad. She was referred to me by a security firm she reached out to about removing all of the negative content or personal content out there about her, and they hired us to help suppress the negative. That one was tricky because as we were suppressing the negative, he was continuing to post more negative content out there. So
he was dedicated.
Yeah. Eventually, we kept outranking it, and he just gave up. So
nice.
But he gave a good 6 months effort of continuing pushing stuff out there, and then eventually when he kind of saw he couldn't keep up with what we were doing, he just gave up. So,
oh my gosh, that's a crazy story.
It was funny.
So it lasted for 6 months.
Yeah, he was at it pretty consistently. We'd post something, get something moved down, something new would come out negative, and then we would just keep having to redo the process.
Gosh. So would you fight it with the positive?
Yeah, just more positive content on more positive sites. And, obviously he didn't have the SEO expertise to rank it.
He was doing it by himself?
He was paying a publicist, I believe, to just get features on high authority sites. But he wasn't doing any backlinks, traffic, anything like that to those. So we were able to outrank it by continually pushing up more positive stuff with SEO.
Okay. But this sounds like also it's kind of on the verge of legal stuff as well, right? Like displaying someone's address or personal information.
Yeah, she got a lawyer involved as well. Because
you can also submit it like to Google, right? Yeah.
It's tricky a lot of times. Even if you have a case, they're really hard to work with and getting stuff like actually removed.
Really?
A lot of my referrals come from law firms where they've tried to successfully remove something. They get the client out of trouble, so they're not guilty of whatever the bad press is about, but then they reach out to Google or the hosting company trying to get the stuff removed, saying, hey, I got them out of trouble, they weren't guilty, and they won't take it down. So they refer for them to me to suppress it once they reach that point where they know it just won't come down.
Okay, so you actually see cases where it warrants the removal, but it's not being done, and you have to suppress it.
Yeah, and or the client thinks it's defamation, but by law, Google doesn't deem it as being so, or the lawyer's not able to plead the case to get it down. So then they reach out to me and say, hey, we couldn't get this down. Now we need you to suppress it.
And often, how far do you want to suppress it? Like, what's the...
I would say a lot of people are happy after getting everything out of the first 2 pages. I think that kills a lot of the visibility, especially if page 1 and page 2 are full of all positive content. Then people won't continue to go down that rabbit hole looking for something negative. But there are cases where people want to keep paying us and say, push it to page 10, don't stop, just, keep it going. So it just depends on the budget and how long they want to keep paying for the services.
And how long usually your campaigns last?
Most of them are about 6 to 12 months to get everything fully pushed down to get Google to really change the SERP of, who they are, where they work, what they want to do, what they want to be known as. So as we are able to kind of change that whole search sentiment to the positive, I would say 6 to 12 months is usually the time frame we see, especially if the negatives on a very authoritative site. Once we get it suppressed, a lot of clients will want us to do more of like a maintenance mode where we just continue to strengthen up all the positive assets and monitor the negative to make sure it doesn't come back up. But then often once it gets pushed, down to page 3 and the client's happy and they end the campaign, without the traffic and visibility, it was getting on page 1, they'll often just kind of stay down from there.
Since you work with high-profile clients, you must see patterns in how different industries get targeted. Are there any specific verticals where the reputation attacks either on companies or on people are much more common or just simply worse?
I wouldn't say any industry specific. It's more of I would say personal vendettas,
Really?
Like the example of the husband and wife or two business partners have a misunderstanding or split or, politicians, rivalries where they just want to play dirty and do what they can to push up negative content about their opponent. I would say that's probably where I see the most, of the negativity there. But I haven't really seen it in any specific vertical.
So it doesn't depend on the vertical, it's just personal.
Yeah, that's
psychological.
From the cases I have, that's what I see.
And do you see more of the cases with just regular people or the companies?
I would say typically with companies, you see more of the negative reviews that they have issues with, but with the negative press, negative content, it's more with individuals.
And how do you deal with negative fake reviews?
There with the fake reviews, you can, submit it to Google. They often don't listen. There's services out there that, claim to be able to get them down. We've tested a few of them. Some of them work. We're trying to figure out, what it is they're doing to successfully get them removed so we can replicate that. Most of our campaigns are all just focused on the negative content. We haven't had too many of the negative reviews yet, but we're seeing what services are out there, what they're doing, and, going to be able to offer that very soon.
And how do you see online reputation management evolving in the future?
I think it'll be a lot more focused on the AI overviews as AI takes over more of the search results. It's going to be more important. So, we're constantly doing testing, documenting where, popular websites that we see across different verticals that are showing up in AI so we can be able to leverage those for our clients and, make sure we're building what we're doing, future-proofing any changes that come about with AI as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, follow Scott on LinkedIn and Instagram. Send him a message. Follow me for more episodes like that. And don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.